Hi everyone, welcome to Cakes in Color. I'm Laura and today I'll be showing you how to make this really awesome quilling cake. I like to experiment with different techniques every now and then, and today I thought it'd be fun to borrow from this really cool form of art, quilling, where you roll and curl strips of paper into these really beautiful designs. I'll be making the Cakes in Color logo, but you can use this technique to make any design you want. Let's get started. I rolled out white fondant mixed with CMC so that it can harden and set, making it easier to place on the cake later. I made a paper template of the Cakes in Color logo and cut out the fondant, smoothed it out with my fingers and set aside. This next part I repeated with all of the colors that I used, but I'll be demonstrating with yellow. I rolled out yellow fondant very thin and then put it through the pasta maker, although you can use your rolling pin as well. I then used a ribbon cutter to cut out even strips to be rolled out into different shapes on the cake. Here's where you really get to have fun with making shapes, using different colors, and creating effects any way you like. I used the paper template to help me place the colors in the right shape, and you can do that with any design you choose. Just print it out and cut out the pieces as you go. Don't forget to use water or piping gel to attach the shapes to the cake. And this is what we get. Set aside to let harden so you can later place it on the cake easily. I used the same size template to cut the shape out of the cake. Try to keep your knife pointing straight down so that the sides of the cake are smooth and straight. It'll make it easier to cover with fondant later. Take your time cutting right alongside the template so that later, when you place your quilled piece on it, it'll fit better. I used the pieces I cut out of the sides of the cake to attach to where the template was bigger than the cake. I then attached them to the main piece with white chocolate ganache, which I also used to cover the entire cake with, as it is usually a little sturdier than regular ganache. Next, I placed the quilling piece on top of the cake and adjusted the placement so that it's just right. I measured the height of the cake so that I know how wide of a strip I need to cut out of white fondant, so that it's the right height for the cake. I rolled out the fondant into a long strip and used a ruler to measure and cut the exact right size so that it would fit all around the cake and match the height of the cake. I recommend using just a little bit of cornstarch here when rolling the fondant onto itself so that it doesn't stick. I had a bit of an issue with that here. Then all that's left to do is take the fondant, roll it on carefully to the size of the cake, and I use a sculpting tool here to make sure the fondant attaches to all of the curves and corners of the cake so that the cake has the right shape. Lastly, use a sharp knife to align the sides of the cake with the top part of the cake. And here is our beautiful, colorful, finished product. So, do-over time. If I had to do this cake over again, what would I do differently? First of all, I would cut the cake itself to be a little bit smaller than the original design, so that when it's covered in ganache and then in fondant, the top part of the fondant, which covers the side of the cake, will be hiding under the top design instead of sticking out of the corners where you'd have to use a knife to level it out. Second, I would use 2 strips of white fondant to cover the sides of the cake so that I wouldn't have to roll out so much, because when I did that this time, the fondant stuck to itself a little bit in the process of unrolling it when covering the sides of the cake. And I think if there were 2 strips, it would have been easier to do that. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments below if you tried this out, how it worked, or if there's anything else that you'd like to see me cake. See you next time.